Hi there. No. You know, you never really know if it's working yet. If it's working until you turn it on and try to make it work. There we go. No, that's wrong. Oh, because the mic was up there. You can't leave it up there. Ever walk around looking for your pencil, but your pencil's behind your ear, your pen? Do that all the time. Walk around looking for my phone. It's in my hand. Look for my keys or my pocket. Just now, trying to find the source of the problem. And I'm wearing it on my head. My head's the source of many problems. Here's one current. I haven't done this in a while, but I was very passionate for a while about just telling people constantly, just don't believe anything. Don't believe anybody. Don't believe anything. It's all filtered through garbage. Like there's nothing. And part of it's AI and part of it's division of media and part of it's consolidation of media. There's all this stuff. Anyway, this is an offshoot of that. It's much more positive or much more focusing on yourself. Don't trust the things in your head either. Like, how much do you really know? There are things you know. I forget what the name of it. There's a phenomenon where if you ask somebody, I almost had the name of it in my head. Somebody will put the name of it in the chat, as I said. If you ask somebody what they think, you ask somebody if they know how, let's say, a zipper works. I'll ask you that. Do you know how a zipper works? And most people are inclined to go, yeah. And then I hand you a pen and say, write it down. Write down how a zipper works. Explain it to me. And you go, uh-oh. Or I ask you how a toilet works. How does our sewage system work? And you're like, yeah, I know how that works. Okay, here. Just give me like one paragraph to explain it. Good luck, man. Good luck. And I found myself in one of those situations just now. So I woke up way earlier than normal. I set an alarm. This is going to be embarrassing to some, but whatever. I set an alarm for 8:45 because I want all the chaos of the kids leaving for school to be done before I have to deal with it. There are days, a couple days this week, where my wife had to go into work, so I got up at like 7 to deal with the kids. But I'm thrown way off if I'm up that early. I'm not right for the rest of the day. So maybe I could get through the show, but then after the show, I'm going to collapse for 2 hours, and it sucks. The rhythm of my body, 8:45 is good. Get up at 8:45, get moving. I'm in this chair by about 5 after 9, something like that. Turn on the music at 10 to 10, and I'm good to go. Today I woke up super early, realized I want to discuss shower routine, too, and how maybe... There are times when I take a shower because I look and I see the same shirt on me again. I'm like, when did you put that shirt on? And I've been changing what I wear. Dunning-Kruger, that's it. I had Kruger in my head. Dunning-Kruger is exactly what I meant. Thank you, Nick. That is, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'll change the shirt that I have over the shirt, but I know what's under here. I had on a Bill shirt that I don't know where it came from, but when I found it in my closet after getting out of the shower the other day, I asked my wife, like, where is this new? And she's like, yeah, you got it from so-and-so. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. And then this morning at 7:15, I was in the bathroom. I look in the mirror. And I'm like, oh, this is that Bill shirt. I go, how long ago did I actually have that conversation with her? And I think we determined it was probably Tuesday, which is not as bad as I thought. I thought it might have been like Sunday that I just had that shirt on. I keep changing the stuff over the top of it. I've changed, socks and underwear and stuff. But I just had the shirt on, which tells me, dude, you haven't taken a shower since Tuesday. So at 7:15, I was like, well, I better take a shower. So I look pretty good today, huh? Pretty clean. It's crazy. So being up that early, I was like, you know what? I'm ready for the show. I've got tons of stuff plus Scott Wilson. And I don't need to, I haven't gone online. If anything happened overnight, I am unaware of it. So let me know if anything crazy is happening in the world, because I haven't looked it up. And I'm down a screen here, so I can't just have that up. I'm okay. But I was like, I'm going back to bed. So I got up, I showered, I went back to bed, and didn't get up until 9:45. And then when I got up at 9:45, I went, I'm hungry, but I'm not going to eat like a meal. So I went upstairs. I'm like, toast. I'm just going to have a piece of toast. That's what I want to do. And while the toast is toasting, I have a thing in my head about a podcast I heard recently about the differences between bread in Europe and bread in the United States, and how our bread is so packed with things that are terrible. Like, in order to preserve shelf life, they did this. But then that caused the problem, so they had to do something to deal with that. And then that caused a problem, they had to do something. So there are all these additives, and just how bread, American bread, is, while often delicious, kind of like poisonous, like packaged bread. Well, we've got some up there anyway, and I'm eating a piece of toast, and I don't really care. But because I just heard that podcast, I decided to start looking at the ingredients while the bread is toasting. One slice of bread, and I took the end because nobody likes the end. The end is fine. But that's all I had. And while I'm reading it, I'm looking at the ingredients, expecting to see, a horror show. And one of the top ingredients on there was riboflavin. And I don't know what I would have thought if you asked me, what is it? Is it a positive? It comes down to, in my head, is that good or bad? So once I had the toast and ate the toast, I came down here, and the first thing I did was look up riboflavin, because I think I've always had a positive impression of riboflavin. But looking at the word, it sounds like it's got flavor in it. That sounds like it's a fake flavor. And then it sounded like poison to me. And I was like, is riboflavin good or is riboflavin bad? And I realized I truly did not know. And I looked it up, and I put a poll up. I didn't even know I could do this. But as I was doing it, I was like, oh, what's that plus mean? And it meant that I could put a poll. So I asked, do you think riboflavin is good? And you guys are good at this. Right now, I think there's a way to close the poll. I don't know how to close the poll. Well, here we go. End poll. 88% said yes. 12% said no. Congratulations. You're correct. That, riboflavin is the same as vitamin B2. I didn't look up what it does, but you can have a riboflavin deficiency. And I don't think you could have a high fructose corn syrup deficiency. That wouldn't be defined online. So looks like riboflavin's good. So you don't have to avoid riboflavin. Everything in moderation, probably, right? Okay. That wasn't the plan for the show, but riboflavin was on my mind immediately before the show. How about this? B2, vitamin B2. Right. My first thought on riboflavin is that I'm 95% sure it's a major ingredient in Fruit Loops. Right. But is it one of the good ones or the bad ones? Seems like it's one of the good ones. Vitamin B2. What does it do for you? I didn't look it all up. I think this is good enough to know if we are pro or anti-riboflavin on the show. I don't need to know everything it does. I don't need to know everything about any of you either. A little bit goes a long way. You showed up. You're in the chat. You're contributing to the show. You're contributing to the growth of the show. That's all I need to know from you. So you guys are all riboflavin to me. You're Riter-flavin. I like it. Thank you. I don't want to totally. This show is brought to you by riboflavin. I don't want to be that guy because I don't have enough faith in it. But just is it a good guy or a bad guy? It appears riboflavin is a good guy. And that's something that I learned today. I also learned that, I'll post this as a question. This doesn't work as a poll. Oh, let me throw this out there. It's flooded outside, and I'm 4.5 feet, I would say, from the sump pump. So if you hear rushes of water, that's not, I'm not on a toilet. It's just happening. It's very floody outside. The backyard right now looks like it typically looks in April, early April, I would say. There's a water problem. Apparently a creek used to run through this area or something or some crap. So it takes a little while after winter for the yard to become like usable, and it's just a big messy swamp, and that's what it looks like right now. And it's January 9th. So I'm sure it'll get cold again. I heard about wind warnings, which tells me this spring-like weather is not going to last forever. I wouldn't expect it to. I mean, the Bills haven't even played a playoff game yet. We're not through it. But, man, is it nice to, like, streets are all full width right now. I know there hasn't been a ton of snow, but there's still that lingering stuff, and I hate skinny roads. And yesterday, when I was, or 2 days ago, whatever, as this thaw has happened, I've been very appreciative of the roads being full width. There's no, like, icy kind of hangover happening from the late shovelers that threw it out there. It's great. It's not going to last forever, but that's what's up. What was my point about looking out the window? Oh, the flood, the sump pump. Sorry, I got distracted by the sump pump, and I talked about that. All right, here's my question for you that wouldn't fit into a poll because it's not a like a multiple choice type of question. What is the most Buffalo you can possibly feel on just a random weeknight? This doesn't involve sports. There's no sports. Like, it's not a Bills game. It's not a snowstorm, but like just a random day last night. I felt like I was being as Buffalo as possible, and it's very simple. I could sit here for 10 minutes and ask you to just give me answers, but that in a like a real radio call-in talk world, I would take a bunch of calls on this before revealing my answer for what made me feel this way. But I was sitting in a restaurant eating a bowl of spicy buffalo chicken soup while listening to the Goo Goo Dolls. And it wasn't just like Iris came on the radio. Specifically, someone in this restaurant picked out like Spotify, This Is Goo Goo Dolls, and they paid for the premium subscription. And they also must have told it nothing later than Superstar Car Wash. So it was just old Goo Goo Dolls songs playing while I'm eating spicy buffalo chicken soup. Like, you can't find that soup outside of Buffalo, and nobody outside of Buffalo is putting on a Goo Goo Dolls station. It might have been Pandora, for all I know. No one's doing that anywhere else. And I just thought, this is very Buffalo. It's pretty good. I forgot about this one. So my kids all got McDonald's gift cards for Christmas. Varying little things. We did a gift card exchange at one point, and a couple of them landed there, and they got them thrown in Christmas cards and grandmothers and all this stuff. So each of the kids had a McDonald's gift card. And typically, I will say this, you wouldn't know it from looking at me, I don't enjoy eating at McDonald's. But the kids do, of course, because they're kids. And my wife tolerates it more than I do. Although they stopped making that strawberry salad like 5-6 years ago. And that's really taken it down a notch in her eyes. But she can still find stuff she likes there. I'm not saying I won't ever do it, but like typically if we're in a hurry and it's a McDonald's thing, I'll just find something around the house. I'm not into it. But also, anyone who knows me well knows I am so cheap. So like if I'm going to do anything frugal, I guess is the right word. I like to do research. It takes me forever. Like, let's just get something for lunch. I have to go online and find out, all right, who's got what deals going on right now? I like to feel like I'm winning all the time. So when the kids get something from McDonald's, typically they get the $5 meal, or I think went up to $5.50, but whatever. It's fine. It's a value meal that's not priced like it's 2026. It's a double cheeseburger and 4 nuggets and fries and a drink, and it's $5.50, and that's fine. So that's, when we do that, it's usually just give me 3 of those or 2 of those, and then Drew just wants a big box of nuggets. But you can usually get that for $3 or something. So that's our typical trip to McDonald's. The kids having gift cards, my wife took them to McDonald's, like, get whatever you want. Like, it's your gift card. It's a gift. That's the beauty of this whole thing. So she takes them in, and of course, you can't order from a human being. Because they're using gift cards, she doesn't use the app. The app is definitely the way to go on every fast food place that I've seen. Fast food or similar. You're much better off doing that rather than going in, standing there, and then there's just a kiosk and nobody looking at you. So she decided, because the kids are using their cards and buying whatever they want, she's going to take them in. They're going to go into the store and actually order. Well, you can't order from a person, so they each have to order at a kiosk with a gift card. And my youngest son, Drew, who is 9, ordered his nuggets and his drink or his whatever it was, and a milkshake. There was a milkshake involved. Maybe he got like a nugget meal plus a milkshake or something. And a milkshake's like $5.50 or something. A crappy McDonald's milkshake is $5.50. So they get up to the counter and they order, or excuse me, not get up to the counter. They wait to have the number called because you can't talk to a person. No one will do anything until they just read your number. They get up there. It's like a milkshake machine is broken. Very standard fast food thing. So what would you like to do? And my wife was like, well, we'll just take the money back. Well, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. And it turns into this whole mess that, honestly, the way my wife described it, I thought she's clearly missing something. Something happened here. But the end result was they said from this 9-year-old, he can have a smoothie or he can have a frappe. And my wife's like, he doesn't drink smoothies or frappes. He bought a milkshake. It's fine that you don't have it. Just put the money back on the card and we'll be fine. And they refused to do so. Refused to put the $6 back on this 9-year-old's $15 gift card. And it involved conversation amongst multiple people. It involved the foreign languages being spoken. It involved people disappearing to the back and then coming back out to say, no, we can't do anything. It involved swiping the card multiple times. It involved my wife seeing the order get voided. She then goes like full chair company thinking there's a conspiracy, that they're stealing money. I'm like, I think that would be a very bad, even for criminals, a very bad business plan to try to get wealthy off of pretending a milkshake machine is broken and offering a 9-year-old a frappe or a smoothie and then pocketing the $5.49. Like, that doesn't seem to be a logical... I don't know how you'd come up with that as a good scam and then land on it. And then it's a conspiracy, too. There's 2 people in on it, at least. And they work together to steal $5.49 from Drew. It just didn't seem logical to me. But I will agree that it wasn't treated correctly. So she came home and told me the story. And I said, well, I'm glad I wasn't there, because then that would have been... She's like, yeah, we were all very glad that you weren't there, because I would have made this show out of it. It would have been terrible. And I said, well, the right way to do it is you just email. So you go on the website or you go on the app and you find a customer service thing and you write to them, and they're going to fix it. It might take a month or 3, but you're going to get the money back. McDonald's is not going to accept an email that tells this story and then also flip you off. Like, they're going to hook you up. And she did that. And it took 4 or 5 days, something like that. But I would like to read you the response that she received from McDonald's, which, of course, I don't have open on my screen yet, but I will. I will real soon. Your McDonald's visit. There we go. Just open. It's the little things, man. This could be a little faster. All right. Dear Ms. Riter, thank you for taking the time to share your recent experience at our McDonald's on blah, blah, blah. As the customer service manager of this restaurant, I apologize that you were not satisfied with your visit. Our mission is to make delicious, feel-good moments for everyone. My team works hard to deliver fast, friendly, and accurate service to guarantee that each visit is a pleasant one. However, it appears as though we did not deliver on this promise to you. I noted the concerns you experienced at the store with your son. We are reviewing, which, good, even if this is written by AI, instead of reviewing, mix in a review-ining. Makes me think you're real. We are reviewing and addressing with our crew. From the substitution to not being given the difference in the dollar amount is not acceptable. I also noted that no apology was given and the employees spoke Spanish. I assure you that this will be handled appropriately. Now, immediately we see this email, like, she's calling ICE. Is she calling ICE? And wouldn't it be ironic if ICE showed up because of a milkshake? I would like to send a courtesy milkshake and meal card to your son for the inconvenience. Our locations are listed on the back of the card. He may choose where to redeem. Please reply with your mailing address. We truly appreciate your feedback, and thank you for taking the time to share your experience with us. We hope to have the opportunity to serve you in the future. Sincerely, Customer Service Manager. That's nice. That's all it takes. That's fine. And they'll be back. No hard feelings. That's how you handle customer service. Even if it takes a little bit longer, and you got to send an email, and you got to sit and wait, and the kid didn't get to drink the milkshake when he wanted to. I mean, in the real world, the way the world used to be, you'd order a milkshake. They'd be like, we don't have milkshakes. And then you go, okay, never mind. But this all happens because we're touching a computer screen right here 20 feet away from a person who won't look at us. So this is, again, one of the pitfalls of accepting technology into our lives as fully as we are. There's not a person there to go, machine's broken. I mean, there is, but that's not what they're doing. I am curious to know, like, what are the defined roles of the people working at, like, when I worked at Ted's in the early 90s, if you were on a shift, you weren't just working at Ted's. You were either the person on the cashier, or you were the cashier, the person on the cashier. There were some cashiers that would have. You're either the cashier or you dress the dogs. That's the highest I ever got. I was the dog dresser. What do you want on that? And then it was like, everything. And I knew the order, and you used the little knife to get the napkin and the pickles, and you don't, no ketchup if you get the hot sauce. There's no ketchup. Did you know that? When you say everything at Ted's, no ketchup if you. Anyway, you had a defined role. You were the cashier, you were the grill, you were fries and rings, you were whatever. There was probably like a runner type of role, but there was somebody there to do a specific thing. Every fast food restaurant I see now, there's this mob of people wandering around, and it's unclear whose role is what, and it's like, I'm just looking for sweet and sour sauce for my kids' nuggets, and I don't know who to ask, and like the person with the headset, the person that looks like this, that's drive-through. I know that one. But they never take that thing off, so they stay over there, generally. But if I want sweet and sour sauce, it's like you walk up and wait and just try to catch somebody's eye. You don't want to interrupt them if they're busy, but it seems like they're probably not, but maybe they are. It seems like we just have a problem with the way these restaurants are being run. And you can say it's not enough employees. There's always people. There'll be 9 people standing in a restaurant, and no one will talk to the person. You walk up to the counter, nobody wants to talk to you. Of those 9, how many can operate a cash register? I don't know. But when we dealt with people, you didn't have to deal with corporate to get a gift card to replace this thing that they wouldn't give back to you, whether they were in the process of communicating in Spanish about a conspiracy to steal $5.49 from every 9-year-old that walked in that day or not. It would get handled. Be like, all right, can I talk to somebody that's not you two that are conspiring to steal money from 4th graders with gift cards a week after Christmas? You jerks. Give me somebody else. Give me the manager. I am the manager. That's when you write to corporate. I think that's the way it used to be, right? Is when your problem got stuck at the manager, then you'd have to go bigger. Now it's like, I don't know who to talk to, and nobody will talk to me anyway at the place. I wasn't even there. All right, I'm crossing that off. McDonald's gift card, done. Chicken wing soup and goose, done. I don't want to do any of the football stuff because Scott's coming on and we'll do all the football stuff then. All right, I'm gonna read. Okay, good. We've got a whole conversation about these restaurants. The arcade milkshake machine is never broken, FYI. I don't live around the corner from arcades, sir. Says, I've got a crazier story about Taco Bell. I have many crazy stories about Taco Bell. That's McAsinine. Good one. They couldn't just give him a new gift card? Yeah, they could have. They just didn't. It was like there was no one there who felt empowered enough to fix the problem. The problem is make the customer happy. Without going over the top. It's not, here's $100, but it's, sorry, that didn't work. Here's $5, and you want an apple pie? I can give you $5 out of my pocket and an apple pie. And then you write it up and you put it in the cash register. It's the way it used to work with people. All right. I got the cops called on me at Taco Bell like 3 years ago in a similar situation. This is why my wife and kids were all happy that I wasn't at McDonald's in this moment. All right, let's hear the Taco Bell story. So it's basically the same situation. I placed a mobile order for like 3 meals. We showed up at the drive-thru to pick it up. They told me they wouldn't serve it because they were too busy for a big order. Then they refused to refund because they couldn't because it was a mobile order. So I literally just put my truck in park at the speaker and was arguing with them. I placed a mobile order. Okay, separate one. Then he got arrested. Or the cops came. Doesn't mean he got arrested. How did that get resolved, Coach? If it's down here in the chat, don't worry about it. But please make sure that the resolution is in the chat if I'm going to continue reading through the chat. Here's a McDonald's story from AC Man. I placed the order and the card was declined for being expired, but the order still went through. Okay. All right. Back to the Taco Bell story. I eventually moved to a parking spot once they said the cops were on the way. He parked next to me. We went in and then just left without even talking to me. Or they just left without even talking to me. Okay. Then they came out with the food like 15 minutes later. It was wild. Basically the same situation Brad is talking about, but like $30 or $40. Hopefully they didn't tamper with your food. That's a thing. Can't say I've ever had any bad situations at a fast food place before like that. I want Long John Silver. That's I got a Long John Silver story too. I've been obsessed with the fact that Long John Silver doesn't exist around here really for a while because I didn't go there a lot as a kid, but I remember Hush Puppies just being awesome, and I loved them. And then I found out that there's a Long John Silver in Batavia. And ever since we moved to Amherst, Batavia doesn't seem that far away. When I was in Cheektowaga, it did. And we go to Darien Lake constantly. We have passes for there for the past few years. And so I'm near Batavia all the time. And the one day, must have been this summer. Yeah, this summer. I took 2 of my kids and 1 of their friends to Darien Lake. And I said in advance of the trip, I'm like, all right, here's the deal. We're leaving here at like noon, or it was like 11, whatever it was. We're going to Long John Silver's, and then we're going to go to Darien Lake. You guys get to do whatever you want all day, but we're eating at Long John Silver's. I'm buying lunch for everybody, including the friend, but I'm going because I want Hush Puppies. And we got there, and I wanted fish too, and the fish and the fries and the vinegar and the tartar sauce and all that. Placed the whole order. Got it. I'm like, can I get some tartar sauce? They're like, we're out of tartar sauce. Like, Can I get some vinegar? We're out of vinegar. At this point, I don't want the food anymore. I wanted the whole experience. I drove. Also, that Long John Silver's in Batavia is nowhere near Darien Lake. If you're coming from here, like Amherst, you get off at Route 77, you start heading south, you could spend the next 12 minutes and get to Darien Lake, or you could turn left for 15 minutes to get to Long John Silver's. Then you got to come back 15 minutes and then still do the 12. It added 45 minutes to the trip. I felt like it was going to add 10 minutes to the trip. I just didn't want the food anymore. And then it was dried out. It was just terrible. And there was a moment. No, I'm not going to tell that story because that's accusatory. There was a moment that made me really question the if they're up to health code in there. I shouldn't say I'll never go there again. But now my entire family, or at least the two kids who were there with me, are disgusted by the place. And I've got I care less about what I perceived as a massive health code violation than I do about the lack of tartar sauce and vinegar. I'll even allow for the vinegar thing. But with the tartar sauce, it's like, if I'm ordering fish, you got to be like, we don't have any tartar sauce. You have to tell me that. Because that's... At even a real restaurant, they would tell you that. A non-fast food place. But clearly I'm craving the stuff you sell. That's why I'm here. I've been thinking about it for 3 days. I agreed to take the kids and a friend to Darien Lake for like 6 hours or 8 hours. And the positive part for me was I was coming here and getting all these things that are terrible for me. And I'm going to like them. I feel like there's an obligation to be like, I'm sorry, we don't have this thing that goes directly with that thing. Like if you ordered wings and you went to pick them up, you ordered them hot, and they're like, here they are. Sorry, we're out of sauce. So now it's just chicken. I feel like that would be something they'd have to tell you up front. And I probably could have raised a stink and said, never mind, I don't want this, take it back. But what am I going to do? This is where I came to eat. I'll just eat your crap food. There's no discount for no tartar sauce. Man, they screw you. Okay, I didn't have that on the sheet. It's 10:46 already. How does Long John Silver's run out of tartar sauce is an excellent question. How does KFC run out of chicken? Twice. I've been to a KFC that was out of chicken. No, I'm not going to show the video of the time that there was the chicken crisis in Rochester, and they just kept asking people what they were going to do. It's so good. I'm not doing that. Is there anything else here in the chat that I need that I missed? I want Long John Silver. Okay. All right. We're caught up on chat. That's good. Thank you for participating in that. Sabres won last night 5-2. They've now won 12 of 13. It's the first time since 2005 that they've put together a streak like this. 2005 was the start of it all. 05 is coming out of the lockout, and suddenly the Sabres are the fastest team in the league and this incredible offense. And that was, I did 2 years as a Sabres pre- and post-game host, and that's when it was. It was 05 through 05, 06, 06, 07. Hockey makes you talk funny. It was 05 through 07, which is 2 years. And at the time, Dan Cave was the producer, and we both lived in North Buffalo, and we would go to the games together. Because it's like a big thing to find a parking spot and parking pass and media credentials and all this stuff, and it just made sense. Like, why would we both drive downtown? So we would do that. And then on occasion, we would stop somewhere on the way to the game to eat, or stop somewhere on the way home to eat. A lot of restaurant talk today. It's fine. I hadn't thought of it in a while, but Dan and I still both remember the moment where we realized the Sabres had people's attention. Because we were going to games. Coming out of the lockout, you know, they weren't great going into the lockout. And then suddenly they came out and they were on fire. And they were incredible, and Ryan Miller went on this unbelievable tear, and they were scoring at will, and it was just like super exciting. They were calling obstruction. That was like the big thing they were stressing in the NHL after the lockout ended. And we're sitting here watching, and it's somewhere around early to mid-December where Cave and I are like, are we watching the best team in the league? Because this feels like we're watching the best team in the league. It's like, nah, I can't. The place is half full. We're hallucinating. We're just imagining this. It's a fun run, but it's not really anything. And then the winds kept coming, and for sure there was snow on the ground, or it was at least cold outside. And we went to Louis for slime dogs after a game. I don't even think the Louis is still there. It was at Hurdle and Delaware and Hurdle. And we went in there, and the woman behind the counter, and we're not dressed in Sabres garb. We're just, dressed business casual, coming from working in the press box. And we go in there to eat, and the woman behind the counter, who was older than us, and, there's no TVs at Louis. It's like, can you believe the Sabres won again? Like, whoa, yeah, we just saw the game. And it was just this moment, we're like, oh, people are starting to talk. And it was just one person, but we felt it. People were starting to talk about the Sabres. And there are a lot of you that are probably young enough, you think of those good old days, you don't realize that was just a quick little flash of 2 really good years. It's not like that was, what the Bills have put together here with Josh Allen is far more, established than what happened there with the Sabres. They'd had their moments, Cup final in, obviously, 75, but also 99, and, May Day, and there was cool stuff with Hasek, obviously, going to the finals, but there were moments. But nothing like what we experienced in those 2 years. I shouldn't say they went to the Cup final, but the team wasn't. They went to the Cup final hoping to win every game 2-1. It wasn't the same thing. And come to think of it, Lindy Ruff was here for that, and for the next one, and for now this one. But that was the moment when they became a thing. So just hearing a reference to that, knowing that the team has won 12 of 13, knowing that they're currently in a playoff spot again. They got into one. They lost a game. They fell out of one. Then they won 2 more games. So now it's 12 of 13, and it's the first time that's happened since 2005. They're in the wild card spot. This is the latest in a season that they've been in a playoff spot since only 2 years ago, but it was February 24th. They have not been in a playoff spot this late. If they can just kind of hang out for another, couple months, can you just hang out? You've gotten to where you can hang out. You needed to do this, as laid out by Paul Hamilton on the show when I had him on 2 weeks ago. They were like 3 or 4 games into the winning streak. And I had him on in the same role that I used to bring John Waro on, except I didn't want to, I wanted to actually talk hockey with Paul. I'd bring John on when the Sabres won 3 in a row last season. And I'd say, hey, is this anything? And he'd go, no. Say, okay. And then we just talk about music. With Paul, I wanted to actually talk about hockey. And he said, that, this is good, and they're playing better, but having to leapfrog all these teams in the standings, they need to turn this into like a 10-game win streak. So like, whew, that stinks. And then they did it, and he was exactly right. The 10th game is what put them into a playoff spot. He's been doing it for a long time. He's pretty good. Now that they've done that, you don't need to win 12 out of every 13. I mean, it would be nice. It would be great. Feel free. But they're back in the conversation to where they can be a regular team and be around a playoff spot. And when you get hot, you're in there. And when you lose 3 out of 4, you drop out. But then you win 3 in a row and you're back in. It's like, just hang out there. Just hang out there. Meaningful hockey games late in the season is all we're looking for at this point. And I know they only missed the playoffs by 1 point 2 years ago. But that's close enough, honestly, for this kind of drought. Your manufacturing interest again. I was thinking, too, today about the one loss in there was the game that I got invited to in Columbus, Ohio. And I considered going. Like, they're on a streak. It's going to be really fun. Got good seats. Go see my friend. And I decided, no, I can't do that because we have too much stuff going on here, and it's going to strand my wife and make her have to run everybody to everything. I can't do it. And that's the game they lost. Imagine that, 6 hours each way in the car to see the only loss over the course of 13 games for a team that I've watched on TV 2 or 3 times this year, maybe 1 full game. The way I watch Sabres hockey the most is I go to trivia on Tuesday nights, and it's on a TV behind me, and John Fuller tells me when they score because he's facing that way. That's how I've been watching the Sabres for the last several years. If they play on a Tuesday, I get to hear what's going on from John Fuller, who's looking at it while I'm not. And I'm going to go to Columbus. Like, I almost was like, yeah, I'm going to get in the car for 6 hours and go to Columbus because this is cool. And had I done that, I would have done what my Uncle Jim did, which is drive down there and witness the only loss in this entire stretch. It stings. All right. Is there anything else on here that I want to do before I have Scott on? That's for Scott's. Major League Baseball. I wrote this down. I never read the article. I just wrote down the headline. MLB commish floats idea of dissolving AL and NL. I don't think I like that. There's a whole article about how college sports are broken that was crazy. Oh. Has it occurred to anyone else? Again, this is... Sometimes I think I am fairly intelligent, but I know that I have blind spots and I miss things. It was just last night that I saw a commercial where Dawson Knox is doing a injury attorney commercial, and he's number 88, and they have a bunch of 8s in their phone number. And I was like, oh, yeah. That's a lot like the James Cook one, where he's number 4, and then the injury attorney has all 4s in his number. And I just want to know which commercial came first. Like, did one blatantly rip off the other? And also, did the same person write the ads for both? Was it like an idea for both of them at the same time? If that's true, is there a conspiracy between injury attorneys, these two big ones who have phone numbers that are all one digit, they're all the same digit? Is there a conspiracy between the two of them to keep away the people with regular phone numbers? Are they working together? Because it's pretty unusual that in the same month, whatever, 2 months, let's say, a commercial pops up where the number of the Bills guy matches the phone number, sort of, and then the other one matches that, and they both have commercials that both air. I watch so little television. That doesn't mean the screen isn't on. I watch movies and videos and things more than anything else. Sports. I don't watch a ton of television, but I picked up on this. I mean, are they working together? Is that one agency? What the hell's going on? A lot of conspiracies in my head today. Can cross that one off. I can cross off toast and riboflavin. That was a late edition. This is no big deal, but I got a text this morning from a neighbor. So my son, my middle son, Nate, he was on the show this week. He was on the show yesterday. Nate walks to school every day. We live close enough to the school. This is why I was able to drop off swim stuff the other day and be back 7 minutes later. We live very close to the school, but it was pouring this morning. So I got a text from the guy around the corner whose son walks to school with Nate most days, I believe. I think he leaves here and goes over that way and then picks up Ben, and then they walk to school. And not picks him up, but you know what I mean. Stops at his house, and then they walk together. And there was a text from the dad saying, hey, I'm going to drive Ben to school. Does Nate want to ride? And I went upstairs, and I saw the text immediately. I was looking at my phone when it came through, like, oh, hey, all right. And I said, hold on, I'll check. I went up. I said, Nate, Ben's dad said he'll drive you to school. Do you want to go at 8:30? And he said, yeah. I said, okay, cool. And I wrote back, like, yep, he's good. He'll be in the garage with the door open watching for you at 8:30. And he said, great. And I sat down and I thought, do other people feel like it's a major accomplishment to reply to a text immediately at 8:11 a.m.? Because I am not usually awake at 8:11 a.m. I would usually get that text and be like, oh, sorry, I missed it. My phone was on silent. I'd be like, no, I was sleeping. I was asleep till 8:45. And you texted me at 8:11 asking about something at 8:30, and there was nothing I could do about it because I can't answer texts while I'm sleeping. I honestly felt like, and this is pathetic, it's probably because I had taken a shower already, too. Like, I'm up and showered and looking at my phone and on it at 8:11. I just wonder if that's what it's like just to go through life as a regular person instead of a weirdo like me. Does that feel like an accomplishment to anybody else? Like, hey, he texted me at 8 o'clock. I wrote back right away. All right, I'm going back to bed. I did something today, and I actually did go back to bed. All right, we're gonna do a quick timeout and then return. Scott Wilson's gonna be here. It's Riter Radio. It's episode. I didn't even tell you. I didn't write down the episode. Oh God, 240. It's episode 240. It's Friday. I'm gonna mark that on the sheet. Episode 240, Friday, and it is January 9th, 2026. Good. Sit shuffle and see what happens? I think so.
Let's check in with Riter Radio's senior football correspondent, Scott Wilson.
Hello, Scott Wilson.
Hey.
How are you, man?
Good. Got a little bit of that jazz elevator music going here.
It's a little sultry.
I like that.
A little sultry for you. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. What's happening, man? What's going on with you?
Nothing much. Just enjoying. This is, last night started a long weekend of playoff football.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Waking up yesterday and thinking about the fact that we're going to rip through, I'm already thinking about the NFL playoffs more, as, a lot of people in Western New York are. But to wake up and go, wait, I've got that tonight, and then I've got that tomorrow, and then the whole NFL thing kicks in, and they're doing Monday Night Football again for the playoffs. So 5 straight days of nothing but playoff football on TV. It works for me, and I'm sure works for you. And that game last night was, that was barn burner. I mean, to have, I don't know, what was it, 4 lead changes in the fourth quarter. I didn't turn it on until very late in the second quarter because I was out doing other stuff. But from the moment I watched it was just super compelling football.
Yeah, it was a very tight game. Miami really dominated the game. They would continually shoot themselves in the foot, whether it be through untimely penalties or dropping 4 interceptions in the game.
Yeah.
It was
crazy. Just in the time I watched. It might have been dropping 4 interceptions in the third quarter.
Yeah, it was insane how many times it looked like, oh, this is clearly going to be an interception, or there's a tipped ball and the guy right there and it just goes through his hands. So Miami kind of kept Ole Miss around, and to Ole Miss's credit, they capitalized on it. And, the problem ends up being for Ole Miss that they couldn't get Miami off the field on third down all game. And especially that last drive that turned into a touchdown, they had 2 opportunities with third and long situations to get Miami, I don't want to say off the field, but force the field goal that would have sent it to overtime.
Yeah.
And they gave up the first down each time, and especially the first one when it was
stretch on the stretch on the sideline.
Stretches out and gets it, and it changed the entire thing from, all right, we're gonna try and keep our timeout so we can set this up into field goal range and take it to overtime, to they get that first down to, oh, okay, all right, now we're going for the win. And it just took a different tone from that point on. And yeah, that was a really good, interesting, compelling game from start to finish, where it's hard to pull for the SEC when they're just rammed down your throat about how great they are and how much better they are than everybody else all the time, endlessly. Ole Miss was actually one of those rare SEC teams that felt like they actually had a good story and a good reason to be there. And being able to, in that game, I don't like Miami, but I like the ACC. I don't like Ole Miss, but I like the thought of Lane Kiffin sitting on a couch somewhere having to watch his team go to the championship game.
Yeah, that's what I was pulling for.
Without him, I think would have been incredibly compelling. But I'm happy the way it worked out, because this is now the 3rd straight year there will not be an SEC team playing for the national championship, despite every year being told how it's an absolute gauntlet and you can't believe how hard it is, and that they're so much better than everybody else. It's not even close. And then how Alabama, even though they've got 3 losses, certainly deserves to be in there with the schedule they've played. And then leading up to the game that Alabama has to play, we see all of their quote unquote good wins get blown out by other teams in bowl games. And then they go up there and face Indiana and get demolished by 5 touchdowns. I'm okay with Miami winning if that's what it takes. Because, and I saw this stat too, since 2020, if you withdraw Georgia from the SEC against Power 5 or Power 4 now opponents, the SEC 68-61, which is 500, and just like everybody else. So, they've got one good team, just like most conferences. They've got one exceptional team, and everybody else is just kind of swimming in the average. But because they get the most publicity, they're looked upon as the best and the greatest. I'm sorry, you can't be considered that if you go in 3 straight years and you don't have anybody in the championship game. That reign is over, and I think that it's very interesting that once you start the NIL period and the NIL era started, and from the point that it officially started, there hasn't been a team in the SEC in the championship game since it became legal
right
to pay your players.
And everybody else got to do it too. Yeah.
The X factor of a Southern guy who went to Ole Miss that owns a car dealership being able to throw cars at guys and all the stuff that they could do under the table down there. Once all that is removed and everything is even, they're just like everybody else now. And it's even the playing field, and the SEC's been left out.
I didn't know for sure who I was rooting for. And I honestly, it's the Kiffin story and the fact I liked the baby blue uniforms. I liked watching Chambliss in the last game. I even liked, him and his mom getting together before. I don't know. There's just something about it. Carson Beck's always rubbed me the wrong way.
And Ole Miss isn't a traditional power.
Yeah, they had.
I mean, they won 10 games when Eli was there.
Fun run with Eli.
That was cool.
And they had that crazy overtime game that probably also was when Eli was there, right? That's that stupid 6 overtime game. Who would they have even been playing? Maybe Arkansas. I don't even know.
That was way back in the day. That was before Eli.
Okay, but that's what I think of when I think of them. I think of Eli and that in the last 25 years, and I like non-traditional. I think that's cool. I will also say I don't like Miami because I have found myself. They were talking last night about the Penn State game, the Shane Conlon, Vinny Testaverde. I remember that one and rooting against Miami at the time. I rooted against Miami, obviously against Ohio State when the Buckeyes won it after the 2002 season. I rooted against them playing against Syracuse. I've got a history. I don't like the colors. I don't like the Dolphins. But they're kind of a villain that I enjoy having around. So I'm kind of excited to watch them go, and I will for sure be rooting against them. Hoping to see them lose the title game at home. That'll be fun. But it's not the same team as it's been, and I feel better when they're involved in the conversation. I didn't like how many years in a row the Detroit Red Wings were not a part of the conversation in the NHL. They were so good for so long, and then they vanished. And it's that's missing. And there are other teams like that. When the Yankees go through a dry spell, I don't like the Yankees, but I also don't like not having the Yankees as the villain to fight against. So I don't know. I've got some respect for Miami in that way. And obviously, I loved Willis McGahee. And he came here. He was cool. He's on my wall. I don't know.
They're going to be playing the championship game at home, and the opponent will be either Indiana, who is the story of all stories, or Oregon, who, despite all their notoriety and uniforms, have not won a championship here in the modern era. Yeah. So it's going to be very easy to root against them when they've got a murderer in Ray Lewis on the sideline storming around, and Michael Irvin, taking off his belt and doing lines of blow, and the whole thing.
He seems way crazier now than he did ever before, right? I mean,
oh yeah,
There's some like something switched in his head, and it can't just be that his haircut is making me like look at him differently, but he looks like a burnt out mess. Way more this year than even in the last couple, because he's been in the media for a while and he's around. But there's something about Irvin right now. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on in that dude's head.
Yeah, there's a great video of the game-winning touchdown last night. Carson Beck scrambled and ran it into the end zone. And it's a video of somebody that's on the sidelines in that corner of the end zone, like back a little bit, probably about 5-10 yards away from it, behind where the photographers are.
Okay.
And there's like 7 or 8 photographers lined up, and Carson Beck is running directly at them for what is game-winning touchdown. So if you can imagine, that is the shot that you're paid to get. Right. And right as Carson Beck is crossing into the end zone, Michael Irvin runs right and walks and stands right in front of these guys taking the photos. So all of their photos are like, all right, he's at the 2, he's at the 1, Michael Irvin's ass. And it's just like Michael Irvin is just everywhere and just ruined these guys' night, because they've been waiting the whole game. Everything that they've done is for this picture. This picture is going to be on the front of the paper, and gone.
Wow,
it's gone.
I'm looking for the video while we're.
So it's going to be easy to root against them no matter who wins tonight, whether it be Indiana or Oregon. I might as well get my pick in here now, since we're talking about it. There's only one game I can pick from.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Indiana -3.5 against the Ducks. They won by 10 earlier this year out in Outson. So I think Indiana is going to come out here and handle their business. I think it'll be closer early, but I think that they've got enough to kind of overcome it. And I like after the game last night, I like what Herb Street said, kind of addressing a little bit of the madness of what is the transfer portal and everything right now, which was, look, if you're a team, you need to stop looking at 5 stars and throwing around big bags of cash right now, because the team that is going there in Miami has like one big player in Carson Beck that they paid a lot of money to. And, Indiana's got no 2 5 stars, maybe, like 7 4 stars, something like it's all 3 stars or less. And it appears that the thing with college football right now is, are you able to have a team? Do you have a full team that will play for each other and like each other and show up and can play together? Because those are the teams now that are making the championship rounds here, not whoever has the greatest collection of 5-star mercenary talent. It's who has the teams. So I appreciate him saying it. It's easier said than done. Certainly, the UB Bulls kind of learning that the hard way right now, because they have a number of players in the portal that are good and that are getting paid a lot of money. But, if you can keep a team together, you have a very, very good chance to be very competitive in today's landscape.
Did you read that article I sent you last night about college sports being broken? I don't want to do a whole thing on it, but did you read that?
I didn't yet, but I am familiar with the Washington quarterback story. It is insane.
That's insane, but it's just about how everything they're doing is like they're waiting for the bottom. Everyone's waiting for something to happen and something to kick in, and until then, it's free for all, Wild West type of stuff. I don't know how you survive in a world where Upton Belenfant, the UB kicker, we knew in the Bahamas last year, was leaving for Texas Tech. He gets paid a large amount of money to be there, doesn't end up being their primary kicker, and yesterday, I think, we learned he went in the portal again, and he's going to South Carolina again, and he got a bunch of money to not kick for Texas Tech, and now he's going to get a bunch of money to maybe kick for South Carolina. But how do you compete when your kicker Somebody can pay that kind of money to take your kicker and then not use him, and then he can go get money again. Like something's got to happen from a rules standpoint to straighten this out before it all just melts, or maybe it just melts. I don't know. I don't know.
There are no rules, and some of the articles that I've read here this past week, and more importantly, there is no oversight to report anybody doing something to, like tampering. Like, who are you going to tell? Like, there is nothing. And then like the NCAA at this point, they've been sued so many times into oblivion that what's the point of making rules? Because every time I come up with a rule, someone else is going to say something else. I mean, players now just want to play college football forever. We're seeing so many 7th-year guys, and like, you can't control the money, and it's free market. They've got nothing there. There is no infrastructure there to support any type of level playing field or rules, or even if somebody does do something nefarious, who are you going to tell? Who are you going to tell?
Right. Well,
when you tell that person, what authority do they have to enforce any type of punishment? None.
In that article, there's a thing about basketball where there are guys from that leave and are in the NBA G League that are getting offers to come back to school, and there's nothing to stop that. Like, what just happened?
Right.
It's crazy.
One of them just signed with Baylor.
That sounds about right. Good God. All right, there's that. What else do you want to do? I've got 17 things open, laid out here that I could get into, but I prefer your input.
I have an eclectic mix of things here today. You want to stick football?
No.
Well, let's stick football.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, go ahead.
The Bills are playing on Sunday.
Yes, I saw that.
1:00. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't see the game yet.
Yeah.
But I'm planning to watch it.
Yeah. So Josh Allen in the wild card round, 2,100 yards, 18 touchdowns in 6 appearances.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons why I feel strongly that the Bills, while they're going to get tested in this game, still have a massive advantage. Not only do they have the best quarterback in the league right now, but they've got a guy that plays exceptionally well in this round. As far as the game itself is concerned, I think there's going to be, this is the first time Jacksonville's been relevant in a long time. I think that if the Bills can kind of weather that early storm that I'm sure will be there's going to be a lot of energy. There's going to be a lot of enthusiasm there at the start. If they can kind of weather that, I think that they can eventually, at least what they've shown all year is that they get better as the game goes along, that they can survive that and stay within striking distance and then make him pay, as long as the game doesn't come down to their kicker getting to kick from 68.
He's all, yeah. And our kicker's all set. He practiced fully yesterday, so Prater looks like he's good to go, just like he did last week when they started the game with him good to go, and immediately we found out he wasn't good to go. So that's the current kicker situation in Buffalo. And then you got what's his name, Cam Little on the other side that just bombs. I don't want it. I don't want the kicker. I don't want to be talking about kickers on Monday. I just
if you're talking kickers, you're probably going to be sad.
Yeah.
Come Monday.
I mean, I was trying to petition for the Ole Miss kid to just get on a plane to Jacksonville and head down and just slide in. You don't need. I know he said he's planning to come back, but can he just declare? Nobody's going to draft a kicker. Just come on over. Come on, just sign him.
Okay. Another interesting NFL thing that I found here.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had tweeted out, and now I'm sharing with you. Tyrod Taylor is apparently the secret to finding your franchise quarterback, because every time he has left a place, the next quarterback has been a franchise guy. So that's the Ravens turned into Lamar.
Yeah, and the Bills.
The Bills. Josh Allen.
Yeah.
The Browns in 2018, Baker Mayfield. Just because they were stupid and got rid of him doesn't mean that he actually won a playoff game there.
Chargers next.
Chargers.
When they stabbed him in the lung.
Texans.
Yep.
Giants
Yep.
last year to Jackson Dart, and this year he was on the Jets, and they have the second pick in the draft.
Wow.
So he appears to be kind of the secret weapon.
I like that.
Where,
There was a girl I knew who used to say that everyone who dated her, the next person they dated, they married.
Right.
Is that the same thing?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
She was right.
She was a starter girlfriend. Yeah. So that's, at least keep an eye on the Jets. They're going to have an opportunity. Again, I don't know. They're picking 2. And Dante Moore from Oregon could decide that he can make just the same amount of money playing for the Ducks and not get sucked into the hell that is the New York Jets. So not for sure there, but at least it's looking good for them. If I were the Jets, I would feel great right now.
Yeah, that's cool.
Being in that lineage.
I don't know that you can avoid the Jets by sitting out of 1 year of the NFL draft, though. Like, how long are you going to stay in Oregon? How long do you have to stay in Oregon for the Jets to get out of the top 5?
Well, let me ask you this: if you had the opportunity, how long would you stay playing college football at being the quarterback at Oregon over the Jets? As long as possible.
Until the senior girls thought I was too old. I remember being in school, and I'm 20 or 21 years old, and there was a guy who would come back for homecoming and be like, why is that guy still coming? He's like 28. And it was weird. It's not that, obviously, at this point, like a 7-year gap in age. I've got friends that are 20 years older than me and 20 years younger than me. So it's not that weird now. But at the time in college, because what I do remember about college is thinking no one else matters. If you're younger than me, you're dumb and you don't know anything. And if you're older than me, you're old and shot and not living the college life. Like, when you're in college, the only people who matter are college people. And maybe if you graduated 1 year ago, maybe you're okay. But other than that, like, the world revolves around people ages 18 to 22. So once I felt uncomfortable in the crowd, and not just with the women, but like with the guys, like, why is he here? Why is Uncle Brad still around? So that's what would make me leave. But other than that, I would stick around as long as possible.
Right. Over the Jets. So
right.
That's still up in the air. I saw some interesting stats. We didn't really talk about it. The closing of the stadium. Well, I guess until the Chargers are eliminated, I guess technically it's not officially
right,
closed.
But let's just go with it.
Right. The closing of the stadium and the last game was just, that's the way you go out. You just put a bunch of nobodies on the field.
Invite the Jets
beat the
over.
crap out of the Jets. Yeah. That's a good way to go out. I have some stats from the stadium. Final numbers.
All right.
Bill's 16-3 in the playoffs.
All right. Let's try to think of the losses here. It was Jacksonville in '96 was the first loss. '96 season was the first loss. They lost to Burrow here, and then they lost to Mahomes here. So that's it, right? Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
That's pretty good for a 53-year stadium. Now, they didn't play in a playoff game there until, I want to say, 1987 is the first time that they played in a playoff game there. So wipe out the first 14 years of it. But
right, and there's the 18 years there in the middle.
But even that, and they missed the playoffs. But 16-3 is a good record. That's why I couldn't fathom them losing to the Jaguars when I went to that game. And it's still my least favorite game in history. And it's what gives me a little bit of pause before I just say, yeah, the Bills are going to romp this weekend. If it was here, I think I would feel that way. It being down there, there've just been weird things with Jacksonville, weird games down there. The London stuff that's happened, there's just like a bad juju around Bills Jaguars. And so I want to just write them off, but I'm a little bit cautious just because I've been through this before. More stats. You got more stats.
Yeah, 3 teams never won there. Do you know who they are?
Tampa
never won there. That's right, the Buccaneers.
I would think it would be someone else like that. Atlanta, maybe?
No.
Oh, no, they're the Bobby Rainey game. I think that was down there. Doesn't matter. I don't know.
The Packers and the Cardinals never won.
Okay.
At the Ralph.
Have the Cardinals been there?
Oh yeah.
I guess technically they would have to be. I can't ever picture a game. I don't think I ever saw the Cardinals play in person. I remember the Packers coming here a couple times, but feels like
I've
the Cardinals
seen the
never
Packers
did.
play there.
Have you? All right. Who won?
Yeah. The Bills.
Oh yeah, right. All right, those are good stats.
Do you know who had the most punts there?
I would say Brian Moorman.
Brian Moorman did 438.
Yeah.
Do you know what player played the most games?
Oh, this is a good one.
In
Jim Richer.
No.
No.
Andre Reed played 124 games.
That was the next name I was going to say.
Or 121. I can't tell. My writing is messy.
It's okay. Andre Reed was the guest speaker, like the keynote speaker, whatever you would call it, at the when I got inducted into the National Junior Honor Society. I ever told you this story?
No, my goodness, what an honor.
Yeah, it was pretty big. It's a junior honor, but it was at West Seneca East Junior High School in, 1987 or 8. Andre came in the league in 85, I believe. He was in the same draft as Bruce. So he was like 2 years in, maybe 3 years in, was not anything yet. He was okay, but it was like, I don't know, we got Andre Reed, we got Chris Burkett, kind of the same thing at the time. And he was the guest speaker. And every time I think of Andre Reed, I think of his speech where, I'm just a kid. I'm 13 years old, whatever, 14 years old, something like that. 13 probably, 12, I don't know. And I still just remember thinking, this guy's dumb. He in his speech, he said something. I'm paraphrasing because I didn't put it on YouTube at the time. But it was like, I was all right in school. I wasn't smart like you guys. I used to get B's and C's and stuff. And I just remember hearing the phrase B's and C's and stuff and thinking, who booked this dude to speak at the National Junior Honor Society induction ceremony? I still have questions about that. Maybe they tried for somebody else, and last minute they sent over Andre, but the speech did not go well. Most people didn't notice, I'm sure. I'm probably the only one who still remembers this, but, that's the way my brain works. Okay, go ahead. Your turn again.
Just bringing in a dumb guy.
Yeah. You guys are smart. I hope I was so smart. Bye. There was a time, hold on, also in junior high, they brought in, what was the guy's name? I want to say Doug Smith. Doug Smith, I think. Let me see.
The anthem singer?
No, is that his name? No. Was that his name too? Doug Smith, American ice hockey player. Doug Douglas Allen.
Doug Allen.
Doug Allen.
Yeah.
Doug Smith, Doug the Hammer Smith, born in 1964, author, retired minor league ice hockey player. That can't be him. Oh, here's another Doug Smith. 64.
That's a pretty common name.
Played from 80. Oh, man. Sabres. Hold on. Doug Smith, Sabres. Hockey player. Doug Smith, ice hockey, born in 1963, played for the Kings and Sabres. Yes, that's the guy. Okay, so Doug Smith comes in, and it's one of those things where everybody goes down to the auditorium, and Doug Smith gives a speech, and he's Doug Smith from the Sabres. He's center from 86 to 88, so it fits. He's like kind of a new guy in town, but he's on the team, and that's who we got because we're just a junior high, and what do we care? It's a guy, he probably had his jersey on, to make sure we knew who he was. And I don't even remember what the speech was about, but I know he gave this whole thing. And then at the end of the thing, he took questions. And so, raise your hand if you've got a question for Doug Smith. And immediately, a girl in the back puts her hand up, calls on her, and her question was, can I come up there and hug you? And he's like, yeah, sure. So she goes up. Gets a hug from Doug Smith. This is Doug Smith. This is not Pierre Turgeon. This is not Pat LaFontaine. This is Doug Smith. She wanted a hug from Doug Smith. Hands go up again. Next one, another girl. Can I hug you? It just turned into people going up and hugging Doug Smith. I don't remember if anybody asked any honest questions or anything, and then he just got out of there. That's my two memories of Buffalo athletes coming to my junior high. Okay, your turn again. Thoughts?
Wow. So he just showed up and met junior high puck bunnies.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. All right, what do you got? You got more stats?
Most common opponent in the stadium.
Miami Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins, 55.
Because of playoffs.
34 and 21 all time.
Solid.
Against Miami there. How about non-AFC East most common opponent? And this does not include
the Colts.
The Colts.
Okay. Chiefs.
No.
Broncos.
Second. Broncos at 18 appearances.
Nice.
11-7 all time against the Broncos. That's all I've got for the stadium.
All right. That was good, though. That's fun. I don't have any stadium stats for you.
I can take you now to a quick baseball story, or I can give you some random trivia.
All right. Is the baseball story about dissolving the AL and NL?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Are you aware that the people in charge of I guess we're going to call them Las Vegas Athletics have had a tough week when they have discovered that they don't have the trademark to Las Vegas A's or Las Vegas Athletics?
Oh, boy.
And that's because a group of guys at a dive bar in Oakland hated the owner and were pissed that they were going to move the team to Las Vegas, went and filed the trademarks and own Las Vegas Athletics, Las Vegas A's.
I usually hate that kind of stuff. I like this one. Like patent trolls and squatters on like domain names and that kind of thing, I think is terrible. But with the way that Oakland was treated by this franchise, I think that's awesome. How's it get resolved? Are they going to get a bunch of cash?
I would assume that they're going to have to pay, or they're going to have to figure out some way around it. Because, I assume that a group of guys from a dive bar aren't going to have the resources necessary to really put up some type of major financial battle to make sure that they can't keep the name. So yeah,
that's pretty good. There was a time. So, this reminds me of when I was with, Store 716 and it was the tank year, and the Sabres very clearly, whoever got number one was taking McDavid. Whoever got number two was taking Eichel. It was talked about as if there was some sort of a debate, but there was not. It was you wanted to be in the top two to make sure you got one of those guys, but you wanted one really badly. It's like one and then down to five. Like it wasn't close. Eichel's a good player. He's not McDavid. And the Sabres lost famously in the lottery. And so everyone in the world knew that Jack Eichel was the newest Buffalo Sabre. But you know who couldn't do anything about that? The Buffalo Sabres. They couldn't start selling merchandise about Jack Eichel being a Sabre during the window when the world knew he would be there, but he wasn't there yet. So that opened up a tremendous opportunity for sort of, B-level clothing choices that loosely linked Jack Eichel to the Buffalo Sabres. It was a good, 4 months of we can do this and the Sabres can't. That's kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah, that's just free reign right there, where you could just go in there and do that. So, good luck to the guys in Oakland. And you're right. I think that of all of the moving franchises and the moving teams and, the shuffling around, and now, we haven't really talked much about the stadium deal that the Chiefs got moving to Kansas, but like yet another team leaving Missouri. That's two for each major sports now leaving the state of Missouri.
The CU state.
As all of them, I don't think anybody has been treated worse than A's fans in Oakland, because the owner doesn't care, is not willing to spend any money, is just pocketing all the league revenue, doesn't care about the team, didn't care about the stadium. and then pulled the rug out from everybody and left. And Cleveland, I guess the Browns, like a charter franchise basically of professional football, leaving and then immediately winning. That sucks. But that they at least were trying to win all of those years, and Oakland has actively not been doing that for decades now. So, when it comes to something like that, I can definitely get behind it.
They made a movie about it. They wrote a book, and then they made a movie about how, like, all right, well, we are not operating in the same league as these other teams, so what can we do to deal with it? That's how long they've been not trying. From an ownership standpoint, anyway. Obviously, everyone below there is trying to win, but crippled.
I will say that the movie doesn't make reference to the fact that they had 3 all-star level starting pitchers on the roster.
That's true.
They never mentioned the name Barry Zito in the movie there, but they had other pieces. But yes, you're right. They had to come up with a different system because they had an owner that was unwilling to spend any money. All right. So the final thing I have here written down that I thought that you would enjoy is I know that you like trivia.
I do.
I know that you like Billy Joel.
I do.
Okay. So we're going to mix those two.
Okay.
Brigitte Bardot is dead.
Yes.
There are now 3 people left alive from Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire.
Do North Korea and South Korea count as people?
No.
Damn it. I thought I had a loophole.
Now, I didn't go through the list and actually do the checking myself. This is just off of the internet.
Yeah.
But they had a chart that looked really official. So I'm going to take this as gospel. 3 people left alive that were mentioned.
Yeah, no, I got it. This is where I would need 4 minutes to go through the song in my head.
Well,
there's nobody. Or I should go near the end of the song because it seems like he was kind of going in order.
I will say one of them was just we have talked recently about one of them and them being inducted into a Hall of Fame.
This is so hard. This would be like me putting my head down and blocking. If we're out at a bar and I was asked this question, it's like my favorite kind of question, and it's just impossible to do.
This is a good Toledo trip question,
right?
For the bus,
right? Because you ask it around the start of Pennsylvania, and then I'm done answering it somewhere, halfway. Halfway between Cleveland and Sandusky. The chat just brought up Chubby Checker.
Chubby Checker is one of them. Just recently inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Chubby Checker's still alive.
Good job, AC Man, in the chat.
There is another one that is a musician. Very famous musician.
I would think.
Actually, recently had a movie about him.
Recently had a movie about him. There was a Springsteen movie he's not mentioned. There was a Bob Dylan movie.
Bob Dylan.
Okay.
Is number 2.
We've got 2. All right, I definitely need a hint again on number 3 because I can't just cycle through the song while also having a conversation. I don't think you're going to
get number 3.
What if you give me a hint and then I can get number 3?
Well, because I don't have a hint ready for him.
Okay. It's just a name. You don't know anything about the guy, or you think you might, but you might guess wrong and then feel stupid. Is that where we are?
Right. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can come up with something here.
All right. I've got time. In the meantime, I will tell you that I've been catching up on the television show The Floor, which is a game show hosted by Rob Lowe. It's on, I think, Fox. And then catching up, and I know that you've watched it, which is why I'm bringing it up, because I do want to talk about it. I've got some thoughts on the show The Floor. And then that led me into an episode of the newest version of Name That Tune, which I don't know if you have seen. I will say, kind of like you said, hey, you like trivia, you like Billy Joel. This is right up your alley. Name That Tune is right up my alley. There's no show that is more designed for me to like lock me in and make me sit and watch every episode that's ever existed than Name That Tune. But I got a lot of problems with the current version of Name That Tune, and I want to discuss those after Scott gives me a clue for the third person who remains alive in Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire, the other two being Chubby Checker and Bob Dylan.
Someone famous in New York City in the mid 80s. Not in a positive way.
Bernie Getz.
Bernie Getz.
All right.
Is number 3. He's still
AIDS,
alive.
crack, Bernie Getz. None of those were popular. Well, Bernie Getz was a little popular.
Crack was very popular.
That's right. I'm thinking of like the media portrayal of it.
It's not good for you.
No, neither is. Well, Rob,
crack was very popular.
Did you hear the very beginning of the show today by any chance? I'm hoping
I did.
You did.
You know, yeah.
Did you have a thought on Riboflavin?
I should have thrown this in there. It is astonishing. You are the only human being I've ever known that's eaten at Long John Silver's, and not only that,
I took my kids.
Just really strive for it. Like you really look forward to it.
I do. Well, I did.
We went to the Mall of America.
Yeah.
The largest mall on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And you went out of your way to find the Long John Silver's at one of the 18 food courts
right after lunch.
To make sure that you bought. Right, we had lunch, and then you're like, "Ooh, oh my God, Long John Silver's."
Yeah.
And then
I thought I was doing you guys a favor buying a thing of Hush Puppies, and then nobody wanted them. I think Paul had one, and I ate the rest.
No, because that's gross.
No, it's delicious.
Oh my God,
confused.
it's disgusting. It's disgusting. That was a pistachio Hush Puppy trip.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I don't know how you're talking about how there's none in Buffalo. I don't know how there's any anywhere.
Because you don't eat there. You got to eat it. You have to eat it to.
Right, but I've never known another human being other than you to ever eat that food.
I assure you, the Long John Silver came up today because somebody in the chat said, I want Long John Silver right now. That's why it came up. So it's not just
right. It's
me.
probably you.
It's not
it's you.
I can't do
Ghosts
that.
Chatting.
I'm not capable of doing that. AI probably could, but I can't.
You probably have AI.
No.
Set to.
People love Long John Silver's.
You probably have an AI bot that you have called John Silver. And
short John Silver.
Short John Silver. Short John Gold. And he's out there just putting up you know what would be good right now? A little bit of Long John Silver. I can vouch for your unabashed love of that
AI
fast food, seafood.
What do people think of Long John Silver's? AI says people have mixed feelings about Long John Silver's, often viewing it as a nostalgic, cheap option for deep-fried seafood cravings, but acknowledging its significant issues with quality, grease, and inconsistent service, leading to declining popularity despite some fans loving the classic taste of their fish, hush puppies, and crunchies with malt vinegar. Many reviews mention greasy, bland, or dry fish, soggy fries, flavorless hush puppies, and poor cleanliness. My last trip there involved all of those things. Greasy, bland, dry, soggy, flavorless, and poor cleanliness. But others praise it as a unique fast food treat that hits the spot when a craving for fried seafood hits, especially for the nostalgia factor. I'm not alone. But, yes, I do acknowledge all of those problems right in the middle of that paragraph that were all they were ridiculously present the last time I went there. I'm now curious about that particular location. Let me just, hold on one second. Bear with me. Long John.
Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. And I tell you what.
That's a great line. It really is great.
Because let me tell you what, like if you think all that and then want more of it, just because you've already experienced it once before, there's something else going on there. Like you don't hear many people saying, you know what I could go for? Bubonic plague. It's been so long since we've had.
Did that come with hush puppies?
And, you know what I miss?
It was their tartar sauce. COVID was. All right, let's see. Justin was there in 2023. Anybody? Come on, somebody newer than 2023 has to have been to Long John Silver's in Batavia. It wasn't crowded.
Oh,
say that.
you.
Yeah, right.
It's just you.
This shares a restaurant with KFC. I wish it was a standalone Long John Silver's because I don't believe they offer certain menu items that a standalone location would offer. Like the fries are KFC fries. The coleslaw is KFC coleslaw as well. Makes me wonder if other things aren't what it should be. Like the batter they use for the fish and chicken, which is extremely salty. Honestly, if it was less salty, I would have loved everything I ate. I've wanted to try Long John Silver's for years. This was my first experience. The hush puppies are delicious. The workers are pleasant. The restaurant was clean. Give them a try, says Justin a couple years ago.
I think Long John Silver's, much like a lot of car washes, are just the only reason they're still around is because it's a money laundering front. No one is eating that food. It's like laundromats, car washes, Long John Silver's. Like that's how cartels launder their money, because no one has ever eaten there before and no one ever wants to eat there ever again, yet they still exist. I don't understand. I don't understand how.
RT from Kenmore said 1 star, horrible. I was in this location on Saturday and it was horrible. He already said horrible twice. The place was a mess.
Double horrible.
Filthy dirty. Fountain drink station had water, soda, and ice everywhere. The floors and tables looked like they had never been cleaned that day, and the garbage and tray area looked like it had never been touched all day. See, no comment on the food, though. We're there for the food. That's what I'm there for. All right, Glenn in Buffalo said, I used to love this place. Would drive 40 minutes to get my fix. That's what I'm talking about, Glenn. It's changed, and not for the better. And the employees admitted it. They made the fish very skinny compared to what it used to be. The batter has changed, too. It's more salty. I did notice the excessive salt in the batter last time. More batter and less fish is what you get, and the fish is drier. Notice that. Probably because it's harder to cook. The employees told me they get complaints, but corporate does not respond. The drink dispenser is still closed. They need to get rid of the flies, too. I was doing battle all the while I ate.
Jesus Christ. I used to like the fish when they made it without all the maggots. What are we talking about?
The fish was dry, and I don't see it getting better since the changes. I was a long-time customer, but I won't go back. I hate when a company uses COVID to get sneaky and think customers won't notice. This was in August of 2021. There are a bunch more reviews here. I'm going to try to find one more 1-star. I like the 1-star reviews.
Yeah, those are usually the honest ones.
All right, here's Lindsay from Buffalo. Every time I drive to or through Batavia, I always see LJS and want to stop. This is the only LJS left in Western New York, and now I know why. My brother brought home a fish and chicken platter with extra hush puppies the other night. The food was so oily, it was truly inedible. I tried to nibble at the hush puppies after blotting them on paper towels, more like squeezing out the grease, and they were still completely inedible. The fish and chicken, too. The batter just soaked up the fryer grease. I've never seen anything like it. My brother ate more than I did and was sick and nauseated during the night and next day. Yuck. I now know to completely avoid LJS at all costs. No ringing the bell ever again. Ha, ha, ha. It's no wonder that this is the only location left in Western New York. The food is so gross! Exclamation point. What a shame! Exclamation point. Cheryl from Rochester said the food here was so disappointing. I loved LJS when it was in Rochester way back when. The store is a combo Kentucky Fried Chicken and LJS, or a little KFC/LJS. I ordered the fish and chicken combo with coleslaw. Clearly the coleslaw was KFC's, and as usual, very good. The fish was horrible. The batter was thicker than the fish. I think the fish was some low-grade frozen stuff. Yeah, you're at Long John Silver's. What do you didn't know going in that it was low-grade frozen stuff? It was dry and tasteless. This is not the Long John Silver quality of long ago. What happened to this place? I had some Long John Silvers in Pennsylvania a while back, and it was fantastic. Needless to say, I left most of this food. Shame on you, LJS. The chicken was passable.
The chicken was passable as a former... The chicken passed for former living being.
All right. I'm done with Long John Silver's for today, at least for now. It's not lunchtime yet.
You should be forever. You should be forever, but I know we'll never...
If it was closer, I would try it again. If there was
you were the Charlton Heston of Long John Silver's from your cold dead hands.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to go to that one again anytime soon. I certainly won't incorporate it into a Darien Lake trip. If I'm in Batavia, I might try it again, but I'm not going to Batavia to go to Long John Silver's. Is that fair? You're going to say no, because you saw what I did at the mall.
Yeah.
I want to like it.
It's going to be gross.
I like battered fish, man. I don't know. All right, so I've caught up on I'm not totally caught up. I'm almost done with the current season of The Floor, which I know you have watched. Are you done with the season? Did you make it all the way through?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I've still got a little bit left, and we've talked about some of the problems we have with the show, and I've got a totally different direction I want to go here before you get freaked out about what I'm about to walk into here. If it was just the contests, just the showdowns or whatever they call it, I would be totally fine with the show. And that's what I've been doing now is I just fast forward and watch the thing, find out what the topic is. And for anyone unfamiliar, 2 contestants are up there and a picture will flash up there, and it'll be the one I watched yesterday. One of them was U.S. president, so this one's not pictures. But it would list 3 facts about a president, and you had to name the president. There's a clock going on each of you, and once you answer it, it passes to the other person, and you go back and forth. The longer you're stuck, your clock is going down, down, down. If you have to pass on something, they punish you with 5 seconds off or whatever, 3 seconds off. It's a good format. What I cannot take is the editing, the reactions of the people on the floor, where like they'll show a picture of Jane Goodall, and then the person who's up there trying to answer gets stuck and says pass, and then they cut to some guy who has never even heard of Jane Goodall, who's rolling his eyes like, how did she not know Jane Goodall? And I know that dude didn't know Jane Goodall, and it's all edited. You don't even know that the reaction. It's not necessarily in real time. It just feels so incredibly edited that I know I like talk about AI a lot, but it feels so fake. Like it's not, like I'm being lied to. There's no way that person reacted to what that person said. Like that might have happened when Homer Simpson was up there and the category was The Simpsons, and the first person goes, I don't know. Like, oh, how do you not know Homer Simpson? I get that. But like obscure things, like how do you not know parchment paper? And the way they cut it, or Rob Lowe, they cut to Rob Lowe, like looking at the camera,
Rob
like,
Lowe.
Can you believe me?
Once a duel, yeah.
Yeah. I don't even mind the Rob part as much as the people on the floor who are reacting as if this is crazy, that somebody doesn't know something that nobody knows or that very few people know. There's nothing shocking about a person not knowing a thing. You're supposed to get things wrong or the game wouldn't work. You're not supposed to know everything or the game wouldn't work. And people don't, and then they put these reactions in like it's crazy. That said, the fakeness of the editing of that show taken to the extreme is Name That Tune. Have you seen the latest incarnation of Name That Tune?
I've seen a little bit of it, yes.
Holy crap. So the first one I see, I didn't even know the show was back on the air, and I loved the show as a kid. And it's, like I said, it's music and it's trivia, so kind of. So I'm in theory. The first one they do, the first song I saw was U2 1. Is it getting better? Do you feel the same? They have a live band there. They're not just playing the actual song. It's a live band. It's led by Randy Jackson of American Idol fame. And he's at a piano. And then there's this whole live band around him with a bunch of singers and everything. It's very glossy. But clearly, nobody's playing and nobody's singing. They're lip syncing. Because this guy sounded exactly like Bono. And then he sounded exactly like Marvin Gaye. And then he sounded exactly like young Michael Jackson. Or they'd cut away to a different guy who amazingly sounds just like young. And then they cut to like Jane Krakowski, who's the host, and she's lip syncing too. And then you realize, wait, everyone's just pretending that this song is playing right now. It's not. There's not a live band. There's no chance that's a live band. Everything is far too perfect. Everything is studio perfect. And they just keep cutting around. And like even people who didn't know the song, like the one who couldn't name the song is now singing along with every word of the song, but lip syncing. It's the fakest thing I've ever seen, and I wanted to love it, and I cannot.
So I want to go back to the floor. I think I have 2 things that irritate me about it. One, I'd like to know what the selection process is for what people pick as their topic, because there are an awful lot of people that get challenged on their topic and they get up and lose on that topic. I just don't understand as a human being how you could allow that to happen. Like some of them are like you get to the 40th question and eventually, whether you're just answering a half second slower than the other person, you lose. But there's so many of them that's like, oh, I'm going to challenge this person on state quarters. And they get up there and apparently don't know more than 10 states in the union. How did that happen? How are the topics selected? Because obviously there has to be some type of somebody saying general knowledge, or else you and I could go on there and be like, who wants to challenge me on UB kickers?
Right.
But
they do allow for some of that, though. It'll be like, stuff in my garden. Like, wait, how did you get that one? This guy got stuck with, like you said, state quarters, and you're
Right.
getting away with things in your some of them are very specific, and it's bizarre.
And the other thing is, I'd like to know what the judge criteria is on some of these answers, because it's really annoying how sometimes somebody can say dinosaur and it's fine. And sometimes they'll say dinosaur and nothing happens because they're waiting for you to say Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yep.
And it's annoying because somebody will say, nail clipper, but they're looking for a more specific grooming title of what it is, when really it's just a nail clipper, but they're looking for nail scissors,
or they want fingernail clipper, not nail clipper.
Right.
They want finger or toe.
And then sometimes
right.
it's like, they'll show a dog and somebody will be like, dog. And that's fine.
Right.
And it really bothers me. The other thing that bothers me, there's a third thing here that just popped into my head now. It really bothers me when they get into battles and it will be like football players, for instance. And somehow it always winds up being, or let's say periodic table elements. And somehow it always seems to be imbalanced, that one person will get carbon, hydrogen,
right.
oxygen, and the other person is getting
magnesium,
basalt.
Yeah.
Right. Like, Einsteinium. Like, and it feels so unbalanced. Somebody will go through and after 10 seconds finally get it, and then it'll go to the other one and it's oxygen. And a half second, and then it's right back in this other person's lap.
Yeah.
It feels sometimes that, I don't know if it's random, I don't know if it's computerized, I don't know what it is, but sometimes it can feel very imbalanced.
There's something so fake about it that it almost makes me feel like the show doesn't exist and it's a simulation. Here's another problem. So let's say it's football, great quarterbacks. I know great quarterbacks. And it comes to me, and there's a picture of a guy wearing Steelers 12, and I'm like, Larry Bradshaw. And it's just silence. I'm like, Larry Bradshaw, pass. And then Terry Bradshaw pops up on the screen. I'm like, damn it. And it goes to the next one. And I go, Marino. Ding. And I'm fine. I didn't have to say it first. So saying a wrong first name makes it wrong, but saying no first name is right. But they don't tell you, like, just say the last name. It's just, I don't know. There's a lot of flaws. Also, there have been times when I've wanted a replay challenge, with the clock, where things are running. It gets pretty heated, as this guy's got 3 seconds left and she's got 2 seconds left, and she says it, but the light is kind of coming on. And like, there should be some kind of review in place, but it's, again, just a sign that I've never felt more like a show was being packaged. Aside from watching Name That Tune, which was like this times 3.
Let's go to Gene's territory to see what he thinks about the rules review.
I kind of want that. That one time I've seen somebody going, and then that just got edited out. Like, it ended, and they were done, and they went, what? And that was gone, and then they were smiling because they edited out the part where they're like, shut up and get off the stage. I can't stop watching it. Like, I want to see all the contests. They're fun. The little
fun.
games, it's fun. But, man, is it poorly constructed as a game. It's poorly constructed as a game. It's cool as entertainment, and that's all they're doing. But I don't know.
I did see an interview once with Rob Lowe, and I never checked this or anything, looked it up, but it was a conversation where they were talking about how there's so much of Hollywood now is not in Hollywood anymore. It's not in California. And Rob Lowe mentioned that they shoot the floor over 2 days in Ireland, I believe, because it's so much cheaper over there. It's cheaper to
take
fly
everyone.
all of the contestants to
Wow.
Ireland for 3-4 days and shoot it over there than it is to do it in California. And he's like, he was talking about how it's it's sad because it, that sucks for California, but
Yeah.
that they shoot it over there.
I get the Vancouver thing, like when all kinds of productions started going up there, and I get Toronto.
Toronto, yeah.
And even like, New Mexico, like Breaking Bad, New Mexico, and there's an Atlanta thing, a lot of that having to do with Tyler Perry. There's a North Carolina thing based around like Wilmington that's been going on for years with like Kevin Williamson, going back to Dawson's Creek and Scream and all that kind of stuff. Like that's been going on for a while. But Ireland, taking a game show to Ireland, a game show that has 100 contestants to Ireland, tells me they're doing something wrong in California.
Well, it does explain how they get away with, and this was a question that my younger son asked a couple of seasons ago, but it remains. He noticed, he's like, how do these guys not smell? How do these people not smell? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, they're wear the same thing every show. And then I noticed, like, well, yeah, they do. They are wearing the same clothes every episode. And it makes sense finding out that they just, whatever it is, 10 episodes and they do 5 and 5.
But other shows do that. Jeopardy does that, but they change their clothing.
Right.
It's just
They
showing
don't.
you how much they're doing this on the cheap.
And I didn't notice it until what's his name that was in
Brian O'Halloran.
Clerks.
Brian O'Halloran was wearing that fake Rangers jersey the whole time.
Fake Rangers jersey, right?
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, no, you're right. And they don't smell because it's just all day.
I mean, they might smell.
Well, I mean, they could smell.
You know who smells great?
know.
Me. I took a shower at 7:15 this morning. It had
Good
been
for
a
you,
while.
man.
Yeah, thanks.
Honestly, good for you.
Hey, Harbaugh. We haven't mentioned John Harbaugh being available, and also I don't know that I've mentioned on the air yet that Mike Florio yesterday had a thing out that him saying he doesn't want to take a job or even talk about a job until next week might have something to do with both the Bills and the Packers and seeing what happens with them this weekend.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I have thought as well. Just, let's wait to see. Let's get all the jobs on the table before we start parsing through. And I know, Mike McDaniel getting fired kind of out of nowhere when it looked like he was going to be safe in Miami the other day. I feel like that's a comfortable line to draw when you hear Harbaugh is not taking anybody till next week, but that he was immediately contacted by more teams than had openings.
Yeah.
It felt like, all right, Miami is probably in there. There's a lot of talk about McDermott, and I don't think that that's even close. I don't think he's close to being on the hot seat. I would be shocked that even if they lost this weekend, if he was fired. And I would just offer this warning as the Giants ran Tom Coughlin out of town, and they've sucked ever since.
Yeah.
Having these coaches that can at least make you in contention every year.
There's something to be said for that.
There's something to be said for that. Going 2 decades without being relevant in the NFL, and then he shows up, and 7 of 8 years you're in the playoffs is something. And just be careful. Just be real careful what you wish for. As far as Harbaugh is concerned, I find it very, very interesting that the Ravens basically picked Lamar over a Super Bowl winning head coach that constantly had them in contention to win the division and win a Super Bowl. Look at Lamar in Baltimore. Were they, you hear all the time Lamar's the only 2-time MVP that hasn't made a Super Bowl. Is that because of John Harbaugh? Or is that because Lamar sucks in the playoffs and he's a turnover machine whenever he plays good teams? Because I don't remember John Harbaugh ever making any type of decisions where he's like, all right, no, I don't want to run it. I'm going to call interception.
I call fumble.
I call fumble.
I call run backwards and take us out of field goal range.
Right. That field goal missing at Pittsburgh the other day. It's not him. It's not him. There wasn't any decisions in that game that were made by him that were bad. That a head coach has purview over. Like, I don't get it, and I don't know if he's ready for it. But Lamar better be ready for the pressure to be ramped up on him, because it's all on him now. There is nobody else there to take the blame. And Harbaugh was very good about always standing up and taking all those bullets. There's not a lot of coaches that are willing to do that. These newer breeds of coaches are more likely to stand up there and say, yeah, we didn't execute. Yeah, no. Which is basically saying the play wasn't wrong. The players suck. So get ready, man. I hope that Lamar is ready, because he just got rid of a Super Bowl winning coach who was highly respected and that the players played hard for and loved. He was able to. John Harbaugh is a big reason of why the Ravens are the Ravens. Billick had the one run, and then Harbaugh came in and kind of rebuilt them, and they had several runs. And let's not forget Harbaugh's Super Bowl was with Joe Flacco, not with Lamar. So I don't know. The Ravens have thrown down in a big way with Lamar. I know he's got the 2 MVPs, but people that watch football and actually understand what's going on and see a lot of it know what's going to happen most of the time with him. When the rubber meets the road, he gets kept in the pocket and faces some pressure, he's going to turn the ball over. And that's not just me guessing. That's me seeing him every time do that. And they could very much and very easily be in a be careful what you wish for type of mode. Like, what type of coach are the Ravens going to be looking for? Somebody that's consistent, that's disciplined, that has support of his players, and has extensive playoff experience, that have, if possible, has won a Super Bowl. I mean, you're describing the guy you just canned.
Sure.
So good luck. Good luck finding something else like that.
So he's immediately the top candidate for the Giants, right? And then do you think that the Giants are appealing enough to him?
I think the Giants are appealing. I think the fact that they have a young quarterback is appealing. I think the thing that is the wild card is Joe Schoen. What is Shane's status, and how does that play into a head coach feeling comfortable going there? They said that Shane is staying on, but they didn't say Joe Schoen is getting an extension. And there's a big difference there. You know, it's very possible that an established coach like that is probably going to want a good amount of say over the players. I think Shane is actually the right guy for that, because he gave Daboll everything he asked for. If you look at the Dart trade and you see the behind the scenes stuff, it's him saying, is this the guy you want? This is the guy you definitely want. And then he goes out, makes the trade, and gets him. So I think it could work, but it's the wild card in the whole thing. I think it's Harbaugh or Stefanski. I think the best possible thing that could happen for the Giants is that a guy like Stefanski gets left out and doesn't get a job and is able to come back and possibly be an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And you can have that experience there as well for your young quarterback. I'm intrigued by Stefanski a little bit, but, you know, the guy, there's a lot of losses in that column that at a certain point it's tough to get over. I know it's Cleveland, but it still counts. It's still the NFL. There's a lot of L's there in that resume.
All right. Well, last one, I promise. Does the firing of Mike McDaniel to you in any way indicate that they've had a conversation that they feel positive about? Because to me, that doesn't look like a super appealing job. But, we heard the rumors that, like you said, more teams inquiring about him than there were openings, and then suddenly there's a new opening that obviously implies Miami was among the teams interested. Do they fire him without any knowledge that Harbaugh is expressing strong mutual interest?
Not that I've seen. For me, if I was a head coach, I would be very leery about the Dolphins' job because Jimmy Johnson and Shula didn't win there. Neither did Saban. Those are three of the best coaches to ever coach anything ever.
Shula won once or twice.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking
didn't
like
in his last 16 years with the team or whatever, right?
Right. I'm talking about modern, not, there's a guy down the street that also plays that works at the tractor trailer company, but also plays for the Browns, and they play the Dolphins, and they went undefeated. I'm talking modern.
I got you.
I know I know it is, and I know that he did, but I'm just talking about.
It's been a while.
Shula's got the most wins, and then you gave him the quarterback with the most yards, and they didn't win.
Right.
So, and then you kept piling in Hall of Fame coaches after that, and none of them did anything either. I don't know. I would be wary about that. I know that they did today announce that they hired a new GM who was an assistant up in Green Bay. So I think the whole McDaniel thing is just based on they made a decision on who they were going to hire. And that guy said, you might as well fire McDaniel because I'm not having an a-hole in.
Yeah. And that's
I'm not having an a-hole in capri pants coach my team anymore.
Right. And it's also
that's not going to happen.
On a certain level, that's a courtesy firing. You don't wait. As soon as you know that you're doing it, you do it because there are all these openings and there are all these conversations happening. So in order to not strand him, when the carousel stops spinning and he's sitting it out, you put him, allow him to get himself into the mix there too. So, okay, new GM isn't going to have him around. That's why because it was weird that Harbaugh was Tuesday, not Monday. And then it was even weirder that 2 days later it was McDaniel. But yeah, that makes sense. Okay, new GM. Okay, I get it. All right.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of those Green Bay guys, like Jeff Hafley, something like that, is tied down there to Miami, just with the Green Bay connections. And I know Hafley's been a guy that's kind of been whispered a little bit for the Giants job. He does have previous coaching experience. He was a head coach at Boston College, then left to go to the NFL. He does have Northeast ties. I think he's got some Jersey ties and stuff like that. And he's obviously had success at Green Bay, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was along those lines.
All right. And one thing I didn't note earlier is that this is the first time in Riter Radio history that your lock and Bob's lock for the weekend are the same pick. Indiana over Oregon, the lock from both of you heading into the weekend. Scott, enjoy the great weekend of football, and I'll talk to you while it's still kind of going on because there's a Monday night playoff game as well, but we'll have our championship opponents decided in college by Monday, by tonight, and then 5 NFL playoff games between now and the next time we speak, which will be Monday morning right around 11 o'clock. Thanks, man.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. There goes Scott Wilson, who is kind enough to join us twice a week. Major part of the show and major part of episode 240. We just went an hour and 23 minutes. And, I mean, that was more than an hour with Scott. It's a lot of Scott. I like it. Is there anything else I didn't get to? I didn't promote Brain Vault, but tickets for Brain Vault will be available soon at thecasbuffalo.com. I would anticipate maybe today. And the first incarnation of that will be, or the first edition, first episode, the debut of Brain Vault, the new live trivia show at the Cas in South Buffalo, hosted by me, will be on Tuesday, January 20th. Unless the tickets don't go on sale, in which case we're pushing it back. But I think the tickets will be on sale very soon. That'll do it. Thanks for listening, contributing. Thanks for the whole week. We did a full week, finally, after spotty performances during holidays. That stuff's done. It's playoff time. Talk to you on Monday, hopefully about a Bills victory. Hopefully about a Chargers victory too. I'd like to see that. If there's a team, all right, real quick. Sorry. Who was it? Now I'm forgetting who it was. Some, veteran NFL GM, personnel person, somebody who gets it. Could have been Belichick. It wasn't. Somebody like him. They asked, hey, who are the teams to beat in the playoffs this year? And he's like, well, I like Denver and Seattle. And I would have just hung up. Like, you can't pick the 1 seeds as the teams to beat. Pick something else. Do something else. But that was the thing. But I don't know. I don't believe in many of these teams. I wouldn't trust many of these teams with my with my hard-earned cash or with my life or with what I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in these games. Most of them just feel like toss-ups to me. Houston feels like it'll beat Pittsburgh. The rest of them, and that's going to be wrong too. Aaron Rodgers will hit the fountain of youth and show up for a game. No predictions coming from me. You got predictions from my kid yesterday. You can go back to episode 239 and find those. No predictions from me. I'm just looking forward to a fun weekend of football. Go Bills. We'll talk to you on Monday. Thank you for listening to episode 240 of Riter Radio, brought to you by Brian Janik, thefinancialguys.com. We'll be back with you on Monday. Bye.
What are you doing for lunch?
I don't know. I have a turkey sandwich.
We're gonna go around the corner. I think you should come with us. This is a great place.
Okay.
We brought you a shirt.
Will you get out of here? Will you get out of here? Will you? Now, will you go to lunch? Go to lunch. Will you go to lunch?
People now have the information.